I don't know. Maybe one day I'll get the answer because they still haven't answered it now. Who let the dogs out? The underdog. I'm back. The most unlikely to make it, the most unlikely to succeed. The unlikely one that they said, no, not him. We ain't picking him. The unlikely candidate. All right. No, I'm excited to be here today. It's been a rough week, man. And the week's still early too, man. It's just like my phone, I get the craziest calls about stuff, and there's no playbook to answer what I do. If people ask, what do you do for a living? I'm a fixer because I fix problems. I think if I was as good as fixing my own problems as I was fixing everybody else's problems, I'd be a billionaire right now, but that's not the case. But anyway, man, I haven't gone through it. I saw bits and pieces of it, but I want to go through it with you guys. The town hall meeting that Kamala Harris had with Oprah. And Oprah always do it big. All that money she got, she can do it big and make it small and then make it big all over again. Ask Stedman. I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to say that. No, don't cancel me, Oprah. I love you. I really do. I'm a Super Soul Sunday dude. Is Super Soul Sunday still on? It's been a minute. I don't get to watch much TV. I scroll the internet so much now, but I'm a Super Soul. I used to be a Super Soul fanatic. But no, shout out to Oprah. And they did this town hall meeting for Kamala up in Michigan. And it seemed interesting, so we're gonna go through it together. But my question is Kamala going to answer the questions? And this is what I said, and I've been saying this for a minute. Please check my older videos if you do not believe me. I said I was going to give Kamala till September before I got hypercritical of what's going on, because I've noticed a pattern in what she does. You'll ask her a question, she'll pivot slightly from the question, then elevate, and then give a monologue about something else. And she'll go deep into the monologue to where if you're not paying attention, you will forget what the question is, and it'll give the appearance that she's answered the question, but she really hasn't. And I'm a firm believer of just tell the people what we need to know to pick you. You know what I mean? It's like when you ordering food. I don't want to, if I want a cheeseburger, okay, give me a cheeseburger, a double cheeseburger with onions and lettuce and pickles, mustard and ketchup and mayo. Don't get funny with the toppings and stuff and say, you don't have me ask, you have barbecue sauce? Well, there's a sauce that we have. It reminds me of when I was a little girl, and we would be on the farm, and then they would have all different kinds of food and stuff, and we see the animals playing, and it's like, damn that, okay? Do you have barbecue sauce? Because if you do, I'm adding it to my burger, okay? Don't confuse me with your old stories and folk tales. She do that a lot, and it makes me mad because it's like, Kamala, just tell me what we doing, baby. Let's just tell me what we doing. And if what we doing, what you want to do is going to align with what I need, you got my vote, flat out. Same thing with Trump. If what you doing is going to align with what I need, you got my vote. But don't be playing. And I think that's a part of the problem that a lot of people are having. And so some people just chalk it all up and say, you know what? I'm gonna just vote because everybody else is voting this way. I'm gonna vote for Trump because everybody else voting for Trump. I'm gonna vote for Kamala because everybody else voting for Kamala. And it's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. What you should do is get all the evidence. Because people, so can I tell it? Can I tell it? A lot of these voters is lying. Okay, they lying to you, they lying to me, they lying to themselves. Y'all got to remember, all these people is talking about never Trump and they ain't voting for Trump and all that. Somebody voted for him. That's how he got in office in the first place. And you got a lot of people out here saying, I'm voting for Kamala blue no matter what I do and all this, and they're gonna get in the ballot box by themselves and vote for Trump. Okay, that's just what it is. They lying. Okay, so that's why I'm saying get your information, because we ain't gonna know what you do no way. We can't check what you do and who you vote for, and pick what's best for you. Pick what you think is gonna be better for your kitchen table issues. I can't stress that enough. I know I beat that dead horse, woke the horse up, talked to it, and then beat it again when I keep saying it. And that's what I'm gonna keep saying, because I keep wanting to stress that message, man. Be selfish with your vote. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. We're gonna see if Kamala really answers those questions. I don't think she will. We finna see though. Let's see what Oprah talking about.
Senator to Vice President, please welcome Kamala Harris. Hi, so welcome to Hello, Madam Vice President. Hello, welcome to Michigan.
It's so good to be back. And Governor, thank you for everything you are and everything you do for the state. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
can you see this? We have 1,000
my
screens
goodness.
here
Oh my
representing people from all over the country.
Hi, everyone.
Can you
Oh, my
feel?
goodness.
Can you
Yes.
feel? Can you feel it? Can you feel
I
the
can.
joy rising in here?
I can. And I have to tell you, there's so much that I love about our campaign, because it really is about the people. And I look around at these screens, Oprah, I look at who's in the room, and this is
I'm sorry, I just gotta ask. Do y'all think Kamala Harris smoke weed? Cause she just be seeming so chill sometimes. Hey everybody. Hi everyone. So good to see you. Okay. Y'all all right? You know, we good. You know, I just left with Joe. You know, me and Joe was together earlier.
You are out of order.
All right, I'm sorry. Let me know in the chat if y'all think Kamala smoke weed.
is America.
And it's okay if she do. I'm just saying.
This
This is America. You know, I was saying with a group of friends earlier, I think in this moment where we've dealt with so much that I think is quite exhausting around powerful forces that would try and divide us and
Yes.
try us to have us as Americans pointing fingers at each other.
Yes.
That this movement that is about reminding each other that we have so much more in common than what separates us is so critically important. And this is about the strength of who we are as Americans. And this movement that we're in about, as I like to say, seeing in the face of a stranger a neighbor.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
An extension of love thy neighbor, that you literally in the face of a stranger see a neighbor.
Yes.
And approach each other with that level of dignity and grace and kindness.
Well, that's exactly what happened with the Win with Black Women. I know
Yes.
you've known Joe Taker for many years.
Thank you, my
That's
dear.
exactly what happened.
He started it.
They had the big
It's
call.
your fault.
They had the big call and then said, let's open the door.
Yeah.
Let's open the door and invite everybody else in. And everybody actually came.
Organically.
Yes.
Organically. Like,
Yeah.
this is the beauty of our country. There's so much at stake in this election. And ultimately, the question before us is, what kind of country do we want to live in? And the beauty of a democracy, as long as we can hold on to it, the beauty of a democracy is each of us has the power Each of us has
That's
the
right.
power
That's right.
to answer that question.
That's right. Everybody
Right?
on this call and beyond has the power. But can I just start with this?
Yes, please.
I have to say this because in all of my private conversations, Gail, and I've said this 100 times,
Yeah.
and everybody is saying it, you all have said it, I know you have. It seems to us that something happened to you the moment President Biden, stepped aside and withdrew his candidacy, that a veil or something dropped and you just stepped into your power. I mean,
That ain't what happened. Now, come on now, Oprah. Come on. You know that ain't how that went. They got scared when Joe got to tripping and they was like, oh, shoot. Let me see. Is it that's too soon into the stream for me to start cussing. They're like, oh, Joe, you can't finish this race? Kamala, can you? Who? Get somebody else on the phone. Get somebody on the phone and who can take over for Joe? But the problem was they had to give the money back. All that money they was gonna have to give it back because it was people on the phone. It was people on the phone they could have called. But they didn't want to give the money back. I think it was like 51 million or something. They was like, no, we ain't doing that. Well, Kamala, here's your shot. And Kamala, I don't think Kamala really wanted it because she wasn't prepared. I think she was like, oh, yes. Okay. She took a puff of her joint. Yes. All right. I'm going to run for president of the United States. I'm going to give it a shot. And here she is. And let me be clear. Now I make my jokes and all that stuff. I do respect some things about Kamala. And there's some things I don't respect, and there's some things I don't understand. And I could admit, too, that some of the things I don't understand is my pure ignorance, and some of the things I don't understand is because her campaign is hiding things. And so I respect this woman of color that is educated. We can't knock that from her. And however she worked it, whether she worked it using her hemline like Joe Brown say, or she worked it using her school books or her accolades, it don't matter. She got there because it's a lot of people who wanted to be where she is, and she did get there. We can't take that from her. Don't do that. Let's not do that. But like I used the analogy of the plane, use whatever tools you got to get from the back of the plane to the front of the plane. Now, if you make a decision to get in that pilot seat, you better damn sure be able to land that plane. You better be able to fly that plane. And that's how I'm feeling about her now. Like, Kamala, now look, whatever you did to get where you at, I'm not judging you. But please be sure you can fly that plane if you get that pilot seat, because there are too many other educated, articulate, well-accomplished, beautiful Black women who can do the job. And I'm confident of that. And so let's not block them from doing it. And because we know the reason why she's the best pick is because of the Democratic ticket, the financial rules that apply to that. They could not give the money back to they couldn't pass the money on to somebody that wasn't on the Biden ticket they would have had to give the money back to the people who donated the money and then try to rally it again. It was too much of a short period of time. So when Oprah said she just stepped into her superpower, it wasn't like that. Y'all know it wasn't like that. She kind of had to. She really had to. So that's what I mean by I respect some of the things. When I say I don't respect some of the things, I think she's running this campaign handcuffed. I do. I think she probably does have some really good ideas that we'll never hear because of the powers that are behind her won't let her. I think she doesn't do well unscripted. So we're only going to get but so much transparency. And then there's things I don't understand. Like why we're here today. I don't understand why she don't really be answering questions, because that's my theory. When we get into it, I think she's going to pivot escalate and give a monologue. But let's see. Let me quit judging her. Let's see.
Literally looking at you at a speech like the week before, which was a great speech, very nice. And then the next week, I saw you walking in the thing. And I said, what happened to you?
You know, we each have those moments in our lives where it's time to step up.
Time to step up.
Time to step up, you know?
Well, the moment you heard, I mean, I really have been saying to people, it felt like a veil dropped and you sort of stepped through that veil. Did you feel like that?
I felt a sense of responsibility, to be honest with you. And with that comes a sense of purpose. But I mean, we're all here and you all are taking time out of your busy lives, everyone here, everyone on the screen, because there really is so much at stake. You know, I have spent the majority of my career being concerned about the well-being of other people.
Yeah.
As I've said, in my career as a prosecutor, I never looked at a victim or a witness and asked them, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them is, are you okay?
Are you okay? I know when I heard that.
You know?
Touch me.
And traveling this country and knowing what is at stake in terms of fundamental freedoms, what's at stake in terms of fighting against hate and those efforts to divide us. And I do know that I'm in a position to do something about it. So I felt a great responsibility. And the incredible power of the people, right? Who, you know, I'm not the only leader in this. We're all leaders in this. This is so much bigger than me. It's about who we are as Americans. And it's about making clear what we stand for. And what we stand for is, it is about the ideals upon which we were founded, including the importance of freedom and the importance of independence and the importance of dignity and purpose. But it is also about what we stand for in terms of our values. I think of it this way.
I think a lot boils down to values. I just said values are on the line here.
It does. I mean, think about it, Oprah. The idea that some would suggest, and that my opponent and it suggests, which is that the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down. Come on. The real measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you lift up. And it's important for us
absolutely
to articulate that.
You know, ever since the debate, we feel for our fellow citizens in Springfield. Do you not think about the fellow citizens in Springfield, Ohio, the Haitian families, the non-Haitian families, everybody having to deal with this lie that has endangered the lives of Haitian people and anybody who looks Haitian? Everybody in America feels for that. And everybody in America, left, right, middle, has concerns about immigration.
Yeah.
And I'm told that Justin, where are you in the audience? Justin.
Hello.
In our audience.
Hello, Madam Vice President.
You live in Michigan.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't you love saying hello, Madam Vice President?
I do.
What's your question? It's an immigration question.
Question for you is, when you become president, what would be your specific steps? Yeah, of course. What would be your specific steps to strengthening the border?
So it's a wonderful and important question. You know, my background was as a prosecutor, and I was also the elected attorney general for 2 terms of a border state. So this is not a theoretical issue for me. This is something I've actually worked on. Okay. I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I take very seriously the importance of having a secure border and ensuring the safety of the American people. Sadly, where we are now can be traced most recently back to the fact that when the United States Congress, members of the Congress, including some of the most conservative Republicans, came up with a border security bill. And here's what that border security bill would have done. It would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border. Let me tell you, those border agents are working around the clock. It would have just been about giving them some support and relief.
See, now that's what I'm talking about. She ain't answered the question. What are you going to do about immigration? That's what he wants to know. You're telling us you took this to heart. You've worked on this. It was a bill on the floor. This is what this bill would have done. You have not answered the question. Let's see if she does answer the question.
Which is probably why the border agents actually endorsed the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl. And I'm looking at people from all over the country here. So I don't need to tell the folks who are watching this what fentanyl has done to families, to kids in our country, and the need to take seriously stemming the flow coming into our country and addressing that extraordinary and tragic issue in terms of its effect. The bill would have allowed us to have more resources to prosecute transnational criminal organizations. And it would have been part of the solution. And
then what's the solution now? Answer the man's question.
Donald Trump called up those folks and said, don't put that bill on the floor for a vote. He blocked the bill, and you know why?
He didn't ask you nothing about Donald Trump. That ain't, see, he didn't ask you. Answer the question, Madam Vice President, please.
Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And he has put his personal political security before border security. Because understand, even in the intervening months, what that bill would have done to give support to folks who care about this issue. And this again gets to the point about what does leadership really look like? And is it about you or is it about the people? Right. Is it about running on problems or fixing problems? My work and my career has always been about saying, let's fix problems. Let's address the needs because we know it's within our capacity to do that. So
she did not answer the damn question. She gave a whole litany, and she do that. She complimented him for the question. She escalated the question, told a little story, and tried to make him forget what his question is of the people. The question is, what is she planning to do about immigration?
To answer Justin's question, now that that bill has gone and hasn't passed, will you reintroduce that?
Absolutely. And when I am elected president of the United States, I will make sure that bill gets to my desk and I will sign it into law.
Shout out to Oprah. Now, did y'all see that? Oprah had to bring it back. Now, to answer his question, what are you going to do now? Why did she have to do that? And that's what I'm saying. Kamala, just keep it plain for us, baby. Just tell us what it is. What you gonna do about these McDonald's meals that used to cost $6? They cost $10 now. Tell us. Don't tell me about when you used to cook pancakes and make your collard greens in the bathtub. We ain't trying to hear all that. How much is the Big Mac now? How much will it be a year after you in office? Some people are going to say, some of the uppity commentators, the political goddesses and gods are going to say, no, it's more the economy. Okay, that's true. That's true. And full disclosure, when I was in college, I had to repeat economics, macro and micro. It was either because I didn't get it at first. All right, I was watching the girls. I wasn't paying attention in class like that in undergrad. But some people you got to make it plain to like that. Just tell them, like, look, I don't have a plan right now, but I am working on a plan. But here's some of the ideas I have. I think that that's something that Trump did that got people the first time around. He introduced, an unlikely candidate to the people. Somebody was like, he ain't speaking like a regular politician because he's just throwing it out there. He's just saying what he thinks. And he came off wrong, sometimes even foul. He got in there. So I would really love to see her do that too. Just tell her truth. What are you going to do? You know what, guys? I don't know because I worked on it. I'm not sure yet. I worked on it, but here are some of the ideas I have. Or I got a plan, and here's my plan. I'm going to A, going to B, going to C. Maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but for some of us simple folks, that's what we want.
Listen to this.
And by the way, do me a big favor. Doesn't cost you nothing, but it means the world to me. Hit that like button. Just hit it. Boop. Just push that like button for me. If you haven't subscribed, because I got all kind of cool content coming, let's keep it pushing.
A majority of young Americans, 18 to 34, say that the cost of living is their top issue ahead of the election. Let's take a look.
Groceries are extremely expensive right now.
I don't understand how people are affording life right now.
For so many Americans, the high cost of living is their top concern this election.
Wage rate $435 to last until the end of the month. Okay?
What?
In Philadelphia, Rachel and Garrett say they have to watch every penny.
When I think of middle class, I think about people who are able to just get up and go and do things within their means and like not extravagant things, but be able to get up and go to dinner whenever they want, or maybe take that trip, that long weekend trip. We don't have that luxury.
By a long shot, her tax plan is phenomenal, no glaze. Kamala Harris just delivered her new economic plan, and boy, oh boy, is it good for small business owners.
Holy shit, you guys. Kamala Harris is going to announce tomorrow a $25,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers.
When I am elected president, I will make it a top priority to bring down costs and increase economic security for all Americans.
Well, Rachel and Garrett are joining us on Zoom from Pennsylvania, and I understand your sister and brother-in-law moved in, and you're hoping to save money to have a second child?
That's right. Hi, Oprah. Hi, Madam Vice President. It's nice to be with you all.
Yes.
Hi.
And so what did you want to say to the Vice President?
So, Madam Vice President, we are, like many, many young Americans, just experiencing a very high cost of living. We ended up giving up our apartment, moving in with our parents who were so gracious to take us in for over a year so that we could save money and ultimately buy a home, because that's what we thought the American dream was, to get married and buy a home and have a baby. And now here we are, and our mortgage is incredibly higher than what we thought it would be. And my sister and our brother-in-law are living with us right now so that they can hopefully one day do the same. And while it's beneficial for us because they help us pay off some of our mortgage, it's also beneficial for them because they can save on cheaper rent. But we really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family. And
Here she go again, y'all. Pay attention. The question was, what are you going to do about this high cost of living? That's the question. Let's hold on to the question.
And working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that. And there are a number of ways. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities, including groceries. So that's why I'm taking on, for example, price gouging, which is when, most companies and corporations are good, but for those bad ones, they take advantage of people, especially during a pandemic or extreme weather, and they end up jacking up prices, and there needs to be accountability and consequence for that. So I'm going to be taking on price gouging. But it's also about dealing with what we need to do around home ownership, right? So as someone mentioned during this film, look, I grew up a child of a mother who worked very hard. She raised me and my sister, and she saved up. And by the time I was a teenager, she was able to buy a home. And we grew up actually for a long time in an apartment on top of a childcare center that was owned by the woman we called our second mother, because she helped my mother raise us. And she was a small business owner.
What are you going to do about the high cost of living, Madam Vice President?
Ms. Shelton. So I'll bring all this together to tell you the way I think about it is, one, when people work hard and have a dream of buying a home, we should give you the opportunity to be able to do that, which is why part of my plan is for first-time homeowners, buyers, to have a $25,000 down payment assistance to buy your first home. Because people just need...
That ain't what she asked. They already bought their home. What she asked is, what are you going to do to bring the cost of living? Now, see, this is that shit that oh man, is it time? Can I cuss? Like, how far? I think I can cuss a little bit. Cause that is so upsetting. Like, just answer the, man.
To be able to get their foot in the door, and then you'll do the hard work. Part of my plan is what we need to do to support small businesses, because my second mother was a small business owner, and I love our small businesses and our small business owners. They are not only business leaders, they are community leaders. They mentor,
What are you going to do to bring the cost of living down, Madam Vice President? Please tell me. I want to hear it. Because you said you're going to take on price gouge, and you did, but you didn't say what that means, how you're going to do it, what some plans are, anything. Because that's the equivalent of just saying, I'm going to lower costs. Well, okay. That's basically what this, I'm going to take on price gouge. I'm going to lower costs. What? I mean, but how? Like, give me something. Give us enough to make us feel like you're really going to do something. Now, because I know you can't lay the whole plan out there in detail, because then people may try to derail it and do this, that, and the third. But give enough, find that balancing act. One of the many people on your staff, find that balancing act to get them to come up with an answer for you to give when that question is asked, to give people enough to be like, oh, okay, I think she might be able to do something. And then not so much that it can become problematic in your campaign. It's just so frustrating. I want the damn answer.
hire locally. And we have so many entrepreneurs in our country who have great ideas, incredible work ethic, but not necessarily access to capital, because not everybody, like my opponent, was handed $400 million on a silver plate that he filed bankruptcy 6 times on. And so part of my plan is to give startup small businesses a $50,000 tax deduction to start up their small business. Right now it's $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000.
She didn't ask her, what's your plan for small businesses? Nor did she ask her, what's your plan to encourage entrepreneurship? Nor did she ask, what's your plan to boost the economy? Because I could see that. What's your plan to boost the economy, Madam Vice President? Well, I'm going to increase home ownership. That's going to drive the real estate market, which will help boost the economy. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to put out a $25,000 tax credit. On the website, it says up to $25,000. So it's just not a blanket. That's a misleading statement. And then if they ask, well, what are you going to do about small businesses or make people more independent, or to put more businesses in the economy, or to get the economy moving? Well, I'm going to encourage entrepreneurship. I'm going to encourage more small businesses by a $50,000 tax credit. That's what that is. But that wasn't the question, neither one. The question was, what are you going to do to bring cost of living down? Why are we talking about entrepreneurs?
So that's part of my plan.
That's a teeny tiny business.
That's a business in
teeny tiny business.
It's a concept of a business, right?
Yes.
You know where I'm going. That's right. And
it's still on paper with the $5,000.
It just hasn't happened, right? Part of to speak to you guys and your family and your dreams is what we need to do around giving middle-class families tax breaks. And so part of my plan is also to extend and expand the child tax credit to $6,000 so that you can, in the first year of your child's life, have the resources to be able to buy a crib and a car seat and clothes for your baby, knowing that's such an extraordinarily important time in their development, and you shouldn't have to worry about how you're going to take care of their basic needs. All of this and more is part of what I plan to build, and I call it an opportunity economy. And it's basically about creating opportunities, knowing so many people have the ambition, have the aspirations, are working hard, but just need opportunity to reach their goals and their dreams.
I saw you smiling with that $25,000 credit for the home. I saw that smile on your face and the $6,000. Thank you all so much. I want to just introduce to Shelby, who's also in our virtual audience. Thank you guys. Shelby from Virginia, who's also struggling with the cost of living. Tell us your story, Shelby. Why?
Hi.
Hey, you guys, you think I can get one more like, just 2 more likes, just one more like? Hit that like button for me. I'm trying to push this on out there so I can get more feedback. And somebody put in the chat, answer the question. Is she answering the questions, or is she just telling us what she wants us to know? That's my problem with what's going on here.
Hey, hi, Madam Vice President. Hi, Oprah. I'm 24 years old. I'm a graduate student living with my parents, and I want to move out next year and potentially buy a home. And I'm concerned about the affordability of one with the extra costs and bills that I'm paying now, along with the bills and costs I will pay in the future too. And so everything just has a cost and everything is so expensive. And so I'm worried about my capacity and how I'm able to fully support myself once I do live independently.
You sound like one of my daughter girls from South Africa graduated. She was like, I hate adulting. I hate adulting. This adulting isn't going so well. Yes.
Well, so first of all, congratulations on all the success you've already achieved. And it is your story and the story of our friends before you is really, that's the American story, right? You are working hard, you have goals, you have ambitions. And so part of it is, again, the $25,000 down payment assistance. Part of it is what we need to do to also push back against a very different vision for our country. Because look, in this election, there are 2 very different visions for our country. One, for me, that is focused on the future, including you, and another that is focused on the past. What Donald Trump, what my opponent plans on doing for the economy is doing what he did the last time he was president and giving another tax break for billionaires and the biggest corporations that would add $5 trillion to our deficit. And get this, he plans on doing what I call a Trump sales tax, which is basically he's going to put a 20% tax on everyday necessities that economists have estimated will cost the average American $4,000 more a year, which is why Goldman Sachs, which is why Moody's, which is why Wharton School of Business, which is why 16 Nobel laureates have collectively determined, after analyzing our plans, 1, mine would strengthen the economy, his would weaken it. 2, that on his plan, he would actually blow up inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. So when you think about the cost of living, my approach is about lifting you up. His would be about actually weakening our economy. And I feel very strongly when an individual, when a small business, when a family, when the middle class is strong, America is strong.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
So how do y'all feel about when they do that? I don't like when either one of them do that, when her or Trump. When you ask them a question and they start telling you about what their opponent is going to do, y'all not in a debate. When we ready to hear what Trump going to do or not going to do, we going to read about him. We going to subscribe to him. This is your time. Shine, baby, shine. Let's hear what you going to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell us what you're gonna do so we can focus on you and figure out if what you plan to do aligns with what we need. Now, I will say this young lady's question was directly about home ownership. That's a good thing. And so if this young lady, since she's planning or she's serious about getting her first home soon, within the next 4 years, that is one reason why she should vote for Kamala. And that's why I say be selfless with your vote. I hope she does too. That's not enough, But I mean, if it's a few more things that she can say, okay, here's what my plans are for the next couple of years, and here's what this candidate's going to do, she should absolutely vote for Kamala. But if she writes her list down like Kamala ain't finna do what I need done, and Trump is, vote for Trump. You know, be selfish with your vote. I ain't gonna be mad at her whatever she does. And I think that's what you should do too. Be selfish with your vote. Also, too, don't be selfish with them likes though. Give me that like. Hit that like button. I know I'm pandering. Hit that like and that subscribe, but I'm just trying to get it pushed out there. Let's see if she answers some more questions, y'all.
Thank you, Shelby. Thank you, Rachel and Garrett. So the Harris campaign kicked off the Fighting for Reproductive Freedom bus tour to support the fundamental right for women to make decisions about our own bodies. And here is a short tape on that.
I did something that nobody thought was possible. I got rid of Roe v. Wade.
After Roe v. Wade was overturned, Tennessee put forth a ban immediately that banned all abortion with no exceptions.
Abortion bans are not pro-life. They are pro-poverty and pro-inequality.
It's been over 2 years since a 5-4 ruling by the Supreme Court ended Roe versus Wade, the landmark case that provided nearly 50 years of abortion rights across the United States. Since then, abortions have been banned in over a dozen states. Many women and doctors say the limits on reproductive rights have forced them into unimaginable situations.
These policies do not reflect evidence-based medical practice. They do not keep my patients safe.
According to the gender equity policy, women who live in states where abortion is banned are up to 3 times more likely to die during pregnancy, during childbirth, or soon after giving birth.
I nearly died, all because of Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices overturning Roe v. Wade.
So for the millions of you who watched the Democratic National Convention, you will remember Hadley Duvall telling her incredibly powerful story. In case you didn't see it, here's just a brief look.
Growing up, I was an all-American girl. Varsity soccer captain, cheerleading captain, homecoming queen, and survivor. I was raped by my stepfather after years of sexual abuse. At age 12, I took my first pregnancy test, and it was positive.
Hadley is here. Stand up, Hadley. I have to tell you, we are all standing up because we are so impressed by your courage to stand up and share your story. Where did that come from, the strength to do this? Because I'm sure you thought long and hard before deciding to go public with your story.
When Roe v. Wade was overturned,
thanks everybody,
I woke up with a harsh reality of my abuse was over, but my story is not. And I just could not fathom thinking about the other Hadleys out there that don't have that choice, that don't have somebody to go to. So being able to find courage and be the light for them, that's really what I do it for.
And so what do you want to say to other people who are voting in this election regarding what happened to you and what that means?
You can't wait until it's too late to care about reproductive health care, because then it's too late. And when it affects you, it hits, and you can't deny it. You can't look at someone with a story like mine and say it didn't happen. And there are more people like me out there, and there are gonna be so many more who deserve their options. They deserve their choices. Let's get involved. We have someone who's willing to hear us at a level like never before. We have someone who wants to know what we want in this country. We have someone who wants to lift up our voice, and we need to show out and show up for her just like she's showing out and showing up for us.
All right. Is there something you wanted to say to Madam Vice President?
Madam Vice President, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for seeing us, for hearing us when the Supreme Court won't. Thank you for fighting and, you know, really showing us that life is not about the hard things that you go through. You don't bow down, even when you're the underdog, especially when you're the underdog. You stand up and you stand tall, and you give me so much hope and so much strength, and thank you.
Thank you, Hadley, for coming all this way. I hope you continue to use your voice. I hope you continue that. This week, the case of a young woman who lost her life after the abortion ban took place in Georgia made national headlines. Amber's case came to light through the reporting of journalist Kavitha Sarana with ProPublica. And so listen to her story.
2 years ago, 28-year-old Amber Nicole Thurman, a medical assistant and a single mother to a 6-year-old boy, found out she was pregnant. Amber had just secured her own apartment and was thinking about going to nursing school. She made the decision to terminate her pregnancy. A strict abortion ban had recently taken place in her home state of Georgia, which caused Amber to travel to North Carolina for the procedure. Traffic made her miss the appointment, so the clinic gave her medication, what are known as abortion pills. Once back home, Amber experienced profuse bleeding, vomiting, severe pain. She eventually passed out. Her boyfriend called for an ambulance. At the Georgia hospital, Amber's condition deteriorated quickly. In a rare occurrence, it was discovered her body had not expelled all the fetal tissue and an infection was spreading. Official Georgia State medical expert analysis of her case says Amber should have received a life-saving D&C, but doctors waited 20 hours before deciding to take her to surgery. Amber's blood pressure had taken a dive. Her organs had started failing. In the operating room, her heart stopped. On the way to surgery, Amber's last words to her mother were, "Promise me you'll take care of my son."
Amber's mother, Shanette, and older sisters, CJ and Andrika, are here, and they wanted to be here tonight to speak out for the first time. Ms. Shanette, what do you want us to know about Amber's story?
Initially, I did not want the public to know my pain. I wanted to go through in silence, but I realized that it was selfish. I want y'all to know Amber was not a statistic. She was loved by a family, a strong family. And we would have done whatever to get my baby, our baby, the help that she needed. When ProPublica came to my home, I pushed them away. No. But Kavithia, she was persistent. She said, it was something that you needed to know. You have to hear me. Women around the world, people around the world need to know that this was preventable. 2 years later, after speaking with my daughters, because I lost strength, I lost hope, you're looking at a mother that is broken. The worst pain ever that a mother, that a parent could ever feel. Her father and myself and the family, you're looking at it.
Well, we appreciate so deeply you being here. And we're all watching you hear that tape and those words. We know how re-traumatizing that is and the strength it takes for you to be here to tell your story. And we deeply appreciate it. And I have to ask you, as her sisters, how are you coping? And what does knowing that this could have been prevented, how does that sit with you? How do you cope with that on a daily basis?
I mean, it's heartbreaking. You know, that was my baby sister. I love my baby sister, you know. I'm beyond hurt, disappointed. I feel guilty. I wish I could have helped her, you know, because she was suffering. And we had no idea. We trusted them to take care of her, you know. And they just let her die because of some stupid abortion ban. They treated her like she was just another number. They didn't care for her as if, you know, she was their daughter or their, you know, granddaughter.
Yeah.
You know, and she's not here. She'll never come back.
Yeah. Andrika, what do you want to say?
I want to say that it's very disheartening that my sister was allowed to suffer for 20 hours. She suffered. It was nothing that we could do to help her. We trusted the healthcare professionals to do their job and save her, but they failed her.
Well, I think the most powerful thing that you've said here, Ms. Jeanette, is that your daughter is not a statistic. She had a life. She was loved by her sisters, loved by her family, loved by those who knew her, and she's not just a statistic. And we are happy to speak her name tonight in this room, talking about what this country needs in terms of reproductive rights and freedom. What do you want to say, Madam Vice President?
I'm just so sorry. And the courage that you all have shown is extraordinary, because also you just learned about how it is that she died. And
they just recently learned. Yes.
How?
Yeah.
And Amber's mom shared with me that the word over and over again in her mind is preventable.
Yeah.
Preventable. That word keeps coming to her. And this story is a story that is sadly not the only story of what has been happening since these bans have taken place. And, you know, so just to step back in terms of how we got here, the former president chose 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would overdo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did as he intended, and in state after state, including yours, these abortion bans have been passed that criminalize healthcare providers. In a couple of states, prison for life, Oprah. Prison for life in a couple of states for a doctor or a nurse who provides health.
Okay, see, she gonna do it again, y'all. And after such a deep, endearing moment, because I feel for this family, and I truly am one of those people who think, you know, we shouldn't be telling women what to do with their body, you know, and women shouldn't tell men what to do with their body. And you have the right, I think you have the right to be wrong. When what I mean by that is, you take that up with your God or whoever you pray to, you know, if you make that decision, but you shouldn't have to make that decision and then suffer because of it when there's complications that could be preventable, you know. And it's sad that these people lost somebody because of that. But I don't want to hear about what Trump did, because Trump did it. It's done. If that's what he did, it's done. I want to know what Kamala's going to do to fix it. What can you do now to restore Roe v. Wade or some form of it or whatever? Like, tell us how we're going to build the bridge moving forward. Don't tell us about the bridge that's burned behind us. And that's what bothers me about that kind of stuff. Let's hear more about what she's going to say.
Healthcare. And so it seems very apparent.
Even when the mother's life is in danger.
But see, here's the problem with that. So is she on death's door before you actually decide to give her help?
That's the problem.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. That you've got to prove you're on death's door.
Like literally a doctor or a nurse has to say, she might die any minute, better give her now care. Because otherwise I might go to prison for life in some cases. Think about what we're doing in terms of saying that certain people who are in these state houses, and then starting with the former president of the United States, think they're in a better position than a doctor or a nurse to determine when their patient needs medical care. This literally, and Amber's story highlights the fact that among everything that is wrong with these bans and what has happened in terms of the overturning of Roe v. Wade, it's a healthcare crisis. It's a healthcare crisis that affects the patient and the profession. And going back to Hadley's story, and Hadley, you've been so remarkable in telling your story and being so strong in the way you do it. And both of these stories really, I mean, the courage for it out of pain.
You know, I just think that what you do between you and your doctor should be between you and your doctor. You know, none of us should have the right to get into that, you know. And if you make a decision that's the wrong decision and your doctor can perform it and keep you cool, then that's between you and that doctor. You know what I mean? But when we start to get involved and the government starts telling you what's up, it just gets tricky because everybody's situation is a little different.
When I was in high school, I learned that my best friend was being molested by her stepfather.
Yes, we heard that story on the DNC.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
you had the courage then to go to her and say, you've got to come to our house.
And she came to stay with us. I called my mother, she came to stay with us. And the idea that these same legislators who would be saying, you know, criminalize healthcare providers are also saying that after a person's body has been violated, that they have no right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. That's immoral.
Yeah. I think it's not just immoral. But here's what I want to say. I just don't believe that those legislators, that the government has a right to be in your womb. They have no right to be in your womb with decisions about your womb.
And one does not have to abandon their faith.
Right.
Or deeply held beliefs to agree.
Thank you, Sharon. And that's what I'm talking about. You know, that's what I want to know. If the minute you get in office, Kamala, you're going to sign Roe v. Wade back into law, okay. You know, and say that. Let's not harp on Trump turning that down. Just say, listen, you know, do your empathetic thing because we get it, because that shouldn't have, these people shouldn't have had to deal with that. And of course, share those emotions and then say, but you know what? That was overturned. But as soon as it hits my desk, I'm going to sign it back in the law. Thank you for contributing and letting me know that, Sharon.
Government should not be telling her what to do.
Absolutely.
Right? If she chooses, she will talk with her priest, her pastor, her rabbi, her imam, but not the government telling her what's in her best interest.
Well, this is a long healing process for this family. And we thank you, and we hope that by being amongst people who heard you and heard your daughter's story will be meaningful you in this journey to healing. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, I want to also...
Hey, you guys, do me a big favor. It don't cost you nothing, but it'll mean the world to me. Push that like button for me. You think I could get 2 more likes? Just 2 more likes. Hit that like button for me. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. I want to hear from Star Walker, who is a campaign engagement organizer in Milwaukee, one of my hometowns, Milwaukee. Hi, Star. What's going on in Wisconsin?
Hi, Oprah. Hi, Madam Vice President. We are fired up here in Wisconsin. I'm an engagement organizer, so I'm focused within their personal networks as friends, family, teammates. Yeah, and by empowering people to leverage their relationships, we amplify their voices and deliver progress. We're fired up, but we also know it's a razor-thin race. So just like in 2020, this is going to be won by a field margin. It's on us to roll up our sleeves and do the work. Let's make phone calls and knock on doors. Go to go.kamalaharris.com to join this people-powered movement. That way, when we look back, we won't just be remembering how we felt, we'll be remembering what we did.
Woo! I love that.
All right, you hey, I gotta give it to her. I got Lil Mama made it sound real good. You know, we gonna look back at what we did. Okay, that sounds good. All right.
I love that. That's a big takeaway because we all feeling really good right now. But what really matters is what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Thank you so much, Star. I see somebody else on the screen, Julia Roberts. Hi, Julia.
Hi. Hi.
I heard you were so excited.
I mean, something wrong with me, man. I feel like I ain't seen Julia Roberts since Pretty Woman. It's been a long time. That was, you know what? That was one of my mama's favorite movies back in the day. I remember Pretty Woman. She used to have a crush on Richard Gere. You know, that was the thing. I was a little kid back then, but I think that was Julia Roberts' breakout role. Like, who remembers that? If y'all remember that, somebody put breakout role in the chat, breakout in the chat. But I'm trying to think, have I seen Julia Roberts since Pretty Woman? I know that sounds crazy. You know what? Yes, I have. Pelican Brief with Denzel Washington. Okay. All right.
Excited you wanted to be here tonight. Why?
Well, first of all, Oprah, thank you for hosting this, because I guess if I started a voting club, it would be conversationalists for Kamala.
Yes.
Because to talk, to listen, to be heard, to have this back and forth is so unique in this campaign to beautiful, wonderful Kamala Harris, who I have had the good fortune of knowing for many years. And I am a mother of 2 kids. This is their first chance to vote in an election. And I couldn't be more excited for them to have the legacy to say that their first vote they ever cast for president was for you. I have just chills saying that out loud.
Are you all going to the polls together? Are you organizing a party? Are the Motors having a poll party? What's happening?
I wish we were all going together. In fact, you know, they are in college, so we will be separated on the great day, but in spirit united always for what we believe in and what we, you know, I feel like it's interesting. We talk so much about being Americans united for something, but this has become such a global representation of our country and what we stand for. And I get to travel internationally a lot. And I want people to say, oh, you're American? And not, oh, how's it going over there? You know?
Yes.
So I want to get back to that space.
Exactly. Thank you, Julia. Exactly. Thank you. And hey, there's Tracy Ellis Ross coming up there. Tracy, now listen, if anybody should have a voting party, I think it should be at your house because you have great parties, girl.
I just want to say hi, hello, Madam Vice President. It's just an honor. I actually have never met you, which is crazy. And hi, Oprah. Wait, what did I miss?
We just saw each other the other day. Okay. Oh, hi, Tracy. Hi.
Hi, Oprah. How you doing?
Good. Yeah. This is exciting, though, isn't it? Isn't it exciting?
It's exciting. It's exciting because I believe in democracy. I believe in the future of our country, in reproductive freedom, bodily autonomy, women leading. I believe in decency. The idea of leading with joy and kindness has always been in my DNA. And I'm here both for the seriousness of this election, but the joy with which it is being handled. It is stunning. And then I also really want to remind everybody, it hasn't been mentioned, but voting up and down the ballot is incredibly important. Your freedom and your daily life are
Now that's it. Now that's it. People don't talk about that a lot. See, she just got me excited. She just got me excited. She just got me excited. Everybody gets so caught up in this whole Trump and Kamala stuff. Vote up and down the ticket. Trump put Kamala on blast at the debate when she said something. He said, you can't get it done. You don't have the votes. You don't have the votes. That's how you get the votes. So it's not just about the president. It's also about the senators and the congressmen that you decide to put in there. So look at the other people that's running too, and be sure up and down that ticket, you line it all up for your favor and do that research, because everything is not going to be said in mainstream media. It's just not. This is how I look at it. When you look at MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, that tells you if it's going to be hot or cold that day. But when you do your own research, that tells you what the temperature is going to be. So treat it that way so that when you go to the ballot box, you're informed for what's best for you and your family. Now, do me a favor and stop being so stingy with y'all likes. Okay? They free. Go on, hit that like button for your boy. Okay? Don't let it be unlikely that you hit the like button. Like, come on, for real. Hit that like button so I can push this on out. Just give me one more like. Just one more. All right, let's see what else they talking about.
all the way up and down that ballot. People are policies, and we need the right people in all areas, all positions. And then I would like to say to you two women, thank you for what you represent, because as a 52-year-old childless woman, I want to say to the people who think that a woman's worth is measured in her baby count, I mean, shout out to all the amazing mothers, but the childless women have been mothering the world and elevating culture as aunties, godmothers, teachers, mentors, sisters, and friends, and the list goes on. And you do not need to push out a baby to help push humanity forward.
Amen to that. Thank you so much, Tracy Ellis Ross. Thank you so much. So another important issue this election is, of course, our safety. And just 2 weeks ago, our country experienced yet another horrific school shooting. Watch this.
It's 10:30 a.m. at Robb Elementary in Uvalde. The school is recognizing my 10-year-old daughter, Lexi, for receiving all A's. 30 minutes later, a gunman murders her, 18 classmates and 2 teachers.
In the last 25 years, there have been 417 school shootings in the United States, and more than 383,000 students have experienced gun violence while at school.
More children and adolescents are killed by guns each year than anything else nationwide.
Just 2 weeks ago, Appalachia High School in Winder, Georgia, became the latest area to face every parent's worst nightmare.
Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air, the deadly high school shooting, 2 students and 2 teachers killed. Police and parents racing to the scene outside Atlanta.
Oh my goodness. There is a shooting at my granddaughter's school.
We had to drag our teacher's body into the classroom. We heard him take his last breath.
We live in a country where 383,000 children have been exposed to gun violence. Now just sit with that number for a second. It's a number until it's your child. This is not normal, y'all. This is not normal, and this is not right. Other people in other countries do not have this issue. We Americans, we have to do better. We have to do better. We cannot continue to just settle for our thoughts and prayers.
You know, she's right. You know, we don't hear about this in other countries, man, these school shootings. Let our babies go to school in peace. And I get it, you know, your right to bear arms and the right to protect your family, but I mean, I don't know the numbers, but it's starting to seem like, I'm going to say seem because I don't know the numbers, but it's starting to seem like we have more school shootings than home invasions and stuff where you really need a gun to protect your home. So it's like, you know, what do we not want more? Do we want to protect our babies at school or protect our homes? I really think we should be able to have both, but it's just gotten so crazy, man. Like, parents should not be afraid to send their kids to school. We got, you know, stuff to do. Parents should be able to send their kids to school while they go to work, pick their kids up, have a great evening, and let it keep going. And it's just so senseless, and it's upsetting every time I hear something about a damn school shooting, man. I hate the fact that we even have to worry about the school shooting stuff, man. It's so tragic.
Lives are being destroyed. 15-year-old Natalie Griffith and her parents, Doug and Marilda, are here. And Natalie, we are so sorry to know that you two have been added to that number because you were in algebra class when you were shot twice by a 14-year-old fellow student. We're so glad that you lived to tell your story. And so how are you tonight?
Well, before that thing, the video, I was very happy. I still am very happy to be here and to tell my story and what happened, because it was a terrible thing. Mm-hmm. And it should not have, what's it called?
Where were you shot? Where were you
I was
physically shot?
Right here on my shoulder and then around here, right wrist.
I was saying that 383,000 students in our country, the United States of America, have been exposed to violence. That same scene that you experienced in your school. Had you all been having, you know, drills or preparation for what should happen? Should there be a shooting?
I've had intruder drills and fire drills and stuff. In my old schools, we've had a fire drill at Appalachia, but it was the first 2 months of the school year. We hadn't had an intruder drill yet. So we weren't even completely sure where to go in the classroom. We all I remember being like huddled.
So I was watching your mother, even just when that tape was coming on, it's still very much PTSD, very much traumatic. You're still reliving it. And how has it been for you? How were you notified that there was a shooting at the school?
I was notified by a friend. She called me, I was at work. And she called me. And she said, do you know about the shooting? With the school that she goes to, the Appalachia. I said, no, I don't. And then she said there was a shooting at the Appalachia High School. My heart just dropped and my heart just got so heavy and I could not stop. I had to leave. I told my coworkers, I gotta go, I have to leave. And then my first thing I did is drop my knee on the floor and just start praying. I prayed for about 30 minutes for my work all the way to the. I didn't get to the school on my car. I had to leave my car at a gas station about 2.5, 3 miles, and I walked on foot and I ran because my heart was so heavy. I couldn't get through touching my daughter.
And I hear you have a message for people in power regarding guns now.
I do. I want to finish that story because no parent should go through this. I want to just finish what, the experience. You do not know what feels until it's you.
Yes.
All those numbers that you show on the TV, a lot of people there here are mothers. What are we doing about this? What are we doing? Let's make sure that everybody listens. Let's make sure that everybody hears it. The whole world needs to hear that we women that have our children, we have a job. That job is to protect our children. That job is to protect our nation. That job is to protect our country. We cannot leave. We cannot let that go on. We have to stop it. You know, where I was asking earlier, where are those people? All the shooting, where are they? They needed to make a noise. I'm ready to make a noise about this, and I'm ready to stop it, because no one knows what feels when you can't find your child, when you call her and you call her just not answering. When I went through it, you know, it's just me that knows it. And I'm sure, I'm so sorry for those that lost the child that actually died. I can actually hug my child. My child is here, and I gave all this praise to the Lord. Our Father in heaven saved my child. You know, but the other two mothers, they lost their kids, and the other teachers that died. You know, those people are suffering like I'm suffering. I'm very sorry for them. I'm very sorry that they lost their loved ones.
And you have a message for the people in power.
Yes, the people in power. Let's make it a change. Let's make it happen. Let's make, you know, let's just not hear about this. Who wants to just hear about this? We gotta change it. We gotta make it happen. You know?
And Doug, I hear you're not a registered Democrat, but you now say it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on when it comes to this issue. What change do you want to see now that it has affected your family?
You know, common sense. You know, I think a first step would just be metal detectors in schools. You know, make a budget, make a plan, and the people that say, well, we've never really done stuff like that before. I don't care. You know, they didn't have metal detectors at airports at one time. You know, they didn't have metal detectors at courthouses. They, you know, I think that if a child knew that he would get caught, the likelihood of him trying would be, there may be another target, but it wouldn't be us having to worry about schools being hardened.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's got to start somewhere. I think more than that needs to be done, but it's got to start somewhere because a lot of schools in the hood got metal detectors. So it's not outrageous to do that. I don't even know why they make it seem like it is. And that's just the start, though, because the other thing is if you got a school shooting and somebody comes through the door shooting, the metal detectors ain't going to really help that much. So I don't know what the answer is either, you know, and drop in the chat if you got an answer or what you think should happen to cut down on these school shootings, because something's got to go. You know, it's got to stop. So we're going to see what Kamala Harris is saying. Do me a favor, you guys, hit that like button. Hit that like button. It won't do it won't cost you nothing, but it'll do a lot for me. All right, let's hear what she's saying.
I mean, I think that Doug has said it so eloquently, which is we just need to apply common sense. And look, I think for far too long on the issue of gun violence, some people have been pushing a really false choice to suggest you're either in favor of the Second Amendment or you want to take everyone's guns away. I'm in favor of the Second Amendment, and I'm in favor of assault weapons bans, universal background checks, red flag laws. And these are just common sense. These are just common sense.
I thought it was so powerful at the convention when you said you have guns. No, at the debate. At the debate,
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that. But my staff will deal with that later.
But I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm looking for. Say what y'all want to say about me. That's the Kamala that I need to see. She said, I'm a gun owner. I believe in common sense laws, universal background checks. You know, the assault rifle ban. That's what she said she believed. And she said, I'm a gun owner. And Oprah said, for real? She said, yeah, somebody breaking my house, they getting shot. I'm sorry. Somebody breaking my house, they getting shot too. I'm sure somebody breaking your house, y'all gonna shoot them too. That's the transparency that I think we saw right there. Why can't we get more of that? Because I think if we got more of that, that's the kind of stuff Trump was doing when he won the first time. He just think it and throw it out there. Sometime it lands, sometime it don't. If she could be unapologetically herself, I think a lot of people will feel better. Now, what we don't know is if her apologetic self is crazy, then it's like, well, damn, I don't know what we're going to do. But at least we'll know what it is. Because, I mean, if that's what it is, then that's who we voting for anyway. If that's who she is, so she needs to show us that. That's all I'm saying. But until then, a lot of people going to be iffy, and they're going to want more because they sense that something is being held back. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. But you have been a gun owner for a while.
Yes, I have.
Yes.
But here's my point, Oprah, is that I'm not trying to take everyone's guns away. I believe in the Second Amendment. But we have to agree that, look, I did last fall a college tour with college-age young people. So I also did trade schools. And packed audience every time in their auditorium. And I would ask, please raise your hand if at any point between kindergarten and 12th grade, you had to endure an active shooter drill. Almost every hand went up. It was bone chilling.
Yeah, this is the way our kids are living.
Chilling.
Yeah.
And think about it. You know, I grew up, we had fire drills only. Well, I grew up in California. We also had earthquake drills. But the fact that our children are sitting in a classroom where they should be fulfilling their God-given potential and exploring the wonders of the world, and some part of their brain realizes somebody could bust through that classroom door with a weapon, with an assault weapon. And let's all agree that the trauma, so many children, even those who have not directly experienced the tragedy.
Just being in the environment. I
cannot tell you the number of young people who, I mean, our kids had active shooter drills. They're concerned that there might be somebody who would kill them while they are at school. This is not the sign of a civil society, and it doesn't have to be this way. It does not have to be this way. But we need to have the courage to act. I mean, look, my opponent, when he was told and knew about a shooting of a young girl, you know what he said? Get over it. Get over it. No, we're not getting over it. No, and to the point, everyone should have a sense of collective responsibility for the children of our community.
Yes.
And understand their right to live and be safe. I have personally prosecuted homicide cases. I know I've seen autopsies. I've seen what these weapons do to the human body. And we've got to agree that, in particular, when we're talking about something like an assault weapon, it's literally designed to be a tool of war. It has no place on the streets of a civil society. It's designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly. And there are things we can do. I mean, thankfully, over the last 3 years, we've done some, but it is common sense.
It just seems like common sense we would see this.
I think
I think that the majority of Americans agree with you that we do not want assault weapons in the hands of children and other people who have no business with those types of weapons.
Right.
We know this is true. So we thank you, Natalie, and your family for being here. And good luck in that marching band this year. I hear you're going to go out for the marching band still.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, it's a sad moment for us, but I wanted to make sure that, we came because we needed to be heard and we needed to, change has to be made, and we're ready to fight for this.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we want to hear what's going on in another battleground state. Tracy is a regional organizing director in Nevada. Tracy, tell us how things are going for you. Hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tracy Lee, a regional organizing director in Nevada. I am the silver state this year because there's so much on the line, from healthcare to lowering costs These issues impact all of us. My team and I have been building relationships with voters across this state because here in Nevada, we know that enthusiasm alone does not win campaigns, organizing does. So all of you watching tonight can become organizers, whether you talk to your sister, a roommate, or a grandparent about why you're so excited to vote for Vice President Harris. You are organizing and energizing other supporters. So please go to go.kamalaharris.com to find ways to help and enjoy the rest of tonight's event. And let's get to work.
Let's get to work. Let's do something. Meryl Streep, hello. You and I. Hi, Meryl Streep. You and I have talked about this moment.
Hi.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling about the momentum?
Oh man, this has been overwhelming to have the privilege to sit in and listen to the testimony of the people here. Hello, President Harris.
Not yet. 47 days.
47 days, yes.
It's from my mouth to God's ear. And hello, Oprah. I think the word of the day has been preventable. Preventable. All of this, the surround of hatred and venom and toxicity and encouraging some segment of Americans to hate other segment of Americans. It's just crazy. And nobody wants it. We're done.
That's right.
We're done with it. I wanted to ask you, I can't believe I have this opportunity. I probably never will again. If I have a little Debbie Downer moment, because actually, I think you're going to win. I'm sure you're going to win. Yeah. But what happens when you win and he doesn't accept it? And you know that there's going to be.
Dun, dun, dun. That's the question right there. That's the question right there. Hey, guys, hit that like button for me. It doesn't cost you nothing, but it does the world for me. Just push that like button. It'll be great if you subscribe too, but if you're not feeling that, hit that like button. That's a good question. So what happens if she win and Trump ain't feeling it? What's she going to do?
This long slog of shenanigans. And I'm wondering how we get to that moment, how we preserve certification on January 6th. Because if it doesn't happen, it'll be maybe thrown back to the legislatures of the states. And I've been working with state government citizens campaign, which is sgcamerica.com. So they're great. They're doing the unglamorous down ballot work of promoting those candidates, because I'm worried about it. And I wonder if we're ready for January 7th, 8th, 9th, and what happens? What happens?
So
what happens?
We will be ready, but just taking a step back, and thank you, Marilyn, for just the gift that you give, your talent, your creativity. Thank you for being here. One of the things that I have realized in the course of our campaign is that more Americans than we may realize who voted for Trump before have decided January 6th was just a bridge too far. When we reflect and think about what January 6th was, where the President of the United States, sitting in the Oval Office, incited a mob, a violent mob, to attack the United States Capitol, such that 140 law enforcement officers were injured, some were killed. To to try and upend a free and fair election where the American people voted, that was a bridge too far for a lot of people. And we have sadly now seen how far he could go. And I think there is absolutely no tolerance whatsoever for the vast majority of Americans for that. And they've seen the lies. They understand, for example, almost every court case, I think every court case where he's challenged an election, he lost. I said on the debate stage, look, because he's having a very difficult time, obviously, processing the fact that 81 million people fired him, right? But, so there is that it really was a bridge too far for so many people that they are not willing to repeat. But the other piece of it is the lawyers are working. It's very important that we all speak to our friends and our neighbors about misinformation and help them now see how it occurs, where it is occurring. It is important that we stand up for the integrity of poll workers and people who are working on election day. And that we also, and this is critically important, that we ask people to be alert about mis and disinformation, and we ask them, do not be afraid to vote. Because I think there is also something quite insidious about these attacks on the electorate in these various forms that are intended to convince people that their vote won't matter. And in that way, there's a little bit of reverse psychology going on here, and let's just make sure nobody falls for it. Your vote does matter, and we cannot let anyone ever take our power from us. We can never let anybody silence us. And when we get those votes out, starting soon, early voting is already going to start this week, I think, through November 5th. And let's make sure everyone votes. And we are going to have a good election day. We're going to fight for the integrity of the people's voice and for our democracy. And, you know, I'll just mention earlier, a couple of folks talked about what this means in terms of the world. You know, Oprah, as vice president, I've met over 150 world leaders. Presidents, prime ministers, chancellors, and kings. And the thing about representing the United States of America is when we walk in those rooms around the world, we have historically and traditionally been able to walk in those rooms, chin up, shoulders back, with the self-appointed and earned authority to talk about the importance of democracies. People around the world are watching right now. Because you see, the thing about walking into a room and being a role model is people watch what you do to see if it lines up with what you say. And in that way, the consequences of this election are directly going to impact the American people and people around the world. That's what we're fighting for, and those are the stakes. And that's why we're going to win, because we know what we're fighting for. Because we know what we stand for.
Thank you, Meryl. So, thank you, Meryl. What is on your heart to say to the American people as we have 47 days until November 5th? What's on your heart? To say to particularly those people who are still undecided, or maybe indifferent, or on the fence still?
We love our country. I love our country. I know we all do. That's why everybody's here right now. We love our country. We take pride in the privilege of being American. And this is a moment where we can and must come together as Americans, understanding we have so much more in common than what separates us. Let's come together with the character that we are so proud of about who we are, which is we are an optimistic people. We are an optimistic people. Americans, by character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations. We believe in what is possible. We believe in what can be. And we believe in fighting for that. That's how we came into being, because the people before us understood that one of the greatest expressions for the love of our country, one of the greatest expressions of patriotism, is to fight for the ideals of who we are, which includes freedom to make decisions about your own body, freedom to be safe from gun violence, freedom to have access to the ballot box, freedom to be who you are and just be, to love who you love openly and with pride, freedom to just be. And that's who we are. We believe in all that. And so this is a moment where we stand knowing what we are fighting for. We're not fighting against. It's what we're fighting for.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Vice President. Thank you. And I want to say, thank you, Madam Vice President. I also want to say, thank you, Joe Taker. Thank you, Joe Taker.
All right, guys. So what you thinking? What you thinking? You know, first of all, if you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button for your boy. Subscribe. I mean, tell me what you think in the comments or in the chat. You know, if you were on the fence before, did Kamala convince you? Do you feel good about what she said, or do you feel like she was just talking a bunch of shit? You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you think about that, because I think she had a lot of scripted points. And then I think she had a lot of empathetic points too, because there was some tearjerkers in this town hall. You know, that stuff about the women's bodies and stuff. And then even with the girl getting shot, that was some heavy stuff, man. And something's got to be done with that. You know, something's got to be done about that. But I didn't like how she didn't answer those questions up front. Like that bothered me, and I thought she was on some bullshit for that.
You are out of order. This is a second notice. You're out of order. Sit down and act with decorum.
I don't like that. And I noticed that in the debate too. You know, just answer the question directly so we can know what we're going with. But then when it aligned with, and what it made me feel like is she don't have plans to address those questions directly. Don't have policies to address those needs directly, because when the young lady came on and was talking about moving into a new home, buying a new home, she answered that directly out the gate. That's the only one she answered out the gate directly, because she had a plan for it. So what do I get from that? I get that when she pivots like that, she just ain't got no plan for it. But I know that's popular. Most of the people in America is wondering what you gonna do about inflation. What are you going to do about immigration? What are you going to do with sending all this foreign money away? And of course, Roe v. Wade is definitely a thing. You know, people still care about these student loan things as well. So I feel like I'm missing one of the major issues. I probably am, but you all get the point. And so we want people who are going to speak to that. Let us know what those plans are. So anyway, I do think overall, this was a pretty good town hall. Put in the comments if y'all think Kamala smokes weed, though, because again, she just get too calm sometimes, and I'm not mad if she does, because I mean, this is a tough job she got. You know, she got to do what she got to do, as long as she ain't smoking on the job. You know what I'm saying? It'll be okay. I ain't tripping off of that, but I do think she has a tough road ahead. I do think it's going to be a lot more shenanigans that's going to pop out on this election trail on her side and the Trump side. And I would actually like to see Jill Stein hit that 5% so that we can get another party option out there. You know, so I think it's a lot of awareness that's around this political cycle. And I hope everybody's paying attention. So don't forget to vote down ballot either. And don't forget about your local. Y'all know that's what I like the most, the local stuff. You know, that's where it's really, really hitting home. Because see, if we got a problem with Trump or Kamala saying, we can't go pop up on them and talk to them about it. With your local elections, you can talk to your councilman and your alderman and your mayor, like, what's up? What's going on? So that's why that's more important to me. And I think that that's where all of us can get involved on some level. So anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and remember, stay unlikely, be unstoppable. And I'm going to catch you on the next one. All right, you guys. Have a good night.